Just before Christmas 1968, a wicked outbreak of Hong Kong flu tore through the student body of Emory University in Decatur, Georgia. Among the afflicted was 20-year-old real estate heiress and Emory senior Barbara Mackle. Jane Mackle, Barbara's mother, drove up from the family's Florida estate to care for her daughter and then bring her home for the holiday break. On the evening of December 17th, as Jane and Barbara Mackle eased in for the night at a roadway in Decatur, a knock came on their door. On the other side, a male figure in a policeman's cap said that Barbara's boyfriend and future husband Stuart Hunt Woodward had been in a traffic accident. Naturally, Jane opened the door for the supposed officer. Big mistake. Miami-based SeaWorld employee Gary Stephen Christ, 23, and his 26-year-old partner, Ruth Eisman Shire, who was disguised as a man, rushed inside. In a flash, the invaders knocked out Jane with chloroform and tied her up. Chris pulled a pew-pew on Barbara and ordered her to walk quietly outside to a waiting car. Chris and Eisman Shire then drove Barbara to a rural pine forest about 20 miles away. When there, the kidnappers ordered Mackle to climb down into a fiberglass box at the bottom of a trench they already dug. The strategically engineered box contained an air pump, food, a battery-powered lamp, and water heavily dosed with sedatives. After getting Barbara to lie down in the chamber, where she'd be trapped for the next 3 days, Chris snapped a photo of her holding up a handwritten sign that read, "Kidnapped." Chris and Eisman Shire buried Barbara in the box under 2 feet of mud and then contacted her father, Miami developer Robert F. Mackle. In exchange for Barbara's safe return, Chris demanded $500,000. Later, Barbara recalled those initial moments as shovelfuls of earth hit the lid of the container, stating, "I screamed and screamed. The sound of the dirt got farther and farther away. Finally, I couldn't hear anything above. I screamed for a long time after that." The FBI swooped immediately into action. Beyond the do-or-die nature of any such kidnapping, the Mackle family stood as a financial powerhouse whose political connections ran so deep that then-President Richard Nixon considered Robert a personal friend. Chris had really picked quite a fight with this scheme. He also did a remarkably poor job of covering his tracks. In the course of delivering the ransom, agents discovered Chris' abandoned blue Volvo. It contained paperwork identifying both him and Eisman Shire, and cloth Polaroids of the 2 kidnappers, and the Barbara Mackle kidnapped photo.
Meanwhile, underground, Barbara went from her initial terror to a state of acceptance and calm. Reportedly, Christ had searched for a victim he believed would possess the mental and physical fortitude to withstand such an ordeal. Of course, she also had to have a rich family. Barbara fit every bill. On the morning of December 20th, searchers located the burial site and frantically dug up the box using their bare hands. After 83 hours underground, Barbara Mackle emerged unhurt and assured everyone she was okay. After getting their loot, Christ and Eisman Shire split up. He got caught within 24 hours, piloting a new speedboat around a Florida swamp, seemingly on the run to nowhere. He had $480,000 of the ransom cash on board. Shortly thereafter, authorities caught Eisman Shire in Oklahoma and eventually deported back to her native Honduras. 2 months after the crime, Christ got sentenced to life in prison. He served 10 years, got paroled to attend medical school, and worked as a physician in Indiana until 2003. Christ then lost his license over failure to disclose a disciplinary action he accrued during his internship. Rest assured, he'd come up with other ways to make money. In 2006, Chris chartered a boat to South America and got busted upon returning to Alabama smuggling substances and 4 undocumented immigrants who had paid him $6,000 cash apiece for the ride. He got 5 years and served 3. On August 12, 2007, a judge ruled that Christ violated his probation not just for leaving the state, but for sailing a boat down to Cuba and South America. Christ went back to jail for 40 months. In the end, minus the cost of the speedboat, Christ's net income from kidnapping Barbara Mackle, the crime that made him forever infamous, was $761. Still, if the past is any indication, he may yet still have some more grand plans up his prison-issued uniform sleeve.